But for you, have you ever seen an interracial relationship that was acceptable to you?
No interracial relationship is acceptable because we have too many black women who are unmarried. Black women are the largest population on the planet Earth. If you can't find one in America, get it from Africa. If you can't get it from Africa, go to the Caribbean, go to Canada, go to Europe. Why would a black man need to copulate, build a family with anything other than a black woman when you have so many black women available? It is an exercise in self-hatred. There's no way to get around it. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Make sure you put in Mama Bear. You'll get 25% off. Brandon, why am I putting in Mama Bear into the discount section? Because we have Mother's Day items that are available for pre-order. To hit the like button, comment on the video, share the video. Now let's get into this. I just want you to listen to this black man say that. I mean, and this guy's like on mainstream. You know, he's not as popular because he's a complete fraud, but he goes on to many of these black shows and featured on the Breakfast Club and other shows like that. And this, they give this fool a platform. Listen to what this fool said about interracial marriage. Roll the clip.
Let me ask you a question, Dr. Umar. Are you totally against interracial relationships?
I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why. The reason I'm against interracial marriage, Envy and Charlemagne, is because marriage is an economic contract. It's an economic contract. Most women do not marry down in status. They marry up. And if you don't believe me, show me a rich white woman married to a broke-ass black man. Have you ever seen a rich white woman marry a broke-ass black man? No, you have not, and you never will. Because
everybody knows this brother ain't been around. This brother need to get out of the business of writing books and start reading books. This brother need to get out of the business of hanging out with black folks and hang out with more interracial couples and hang out with more, you know, getting to know white people versus black people that live in the uppity up as well as live down below. He need to get out of the house more and shut his mouth more so he can learn more. And I'm saying that as Christian as I can say it, because he don't know what he's talking about. That's not true, what he just said, okay?
Marriage ain't about love. It's not colorblind, and it is totally economic. So if marriage is an economic unification and a contract, how can we, who don't have enough already, give so much to the white woman and to white people who have already taken too much when we got all these black women out here who will never get married?
What, did that start all over again? Okay.
Enough already. Give so much to the white woman and to white people who have already taken too much when we got all these black women out here who will never get married.
But for you, have you ever seen an interracial relationship that was acceptable to you?
No interracial relationship is acceptable because we have too many black women who are unmarried. Black women are the largest population on the planet Earth. If you can't find one in America, get it from Africa. If you can't get it from Africa, go to the Caribbean, go to Canada, go to Europe. Why would a black man need to copulate, build a family with anything other than a black woman when you have so many black women available? It is an exercise in self-hatred. There's no way to get around it. Can you think about this? What if a white man said there is no justification for interracial marriage? I mean, my God, I think Jesus may even peek over a cloud and be like, hold on, shawty. I'm about to have to come back. It's going to be so much drama and furniture moving. But why can a black man say that, but a white man can't say that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that people are so ignorant to me. Color means nothing. There is some correlation between color and culture.
Color means nothing if it means nothing on both sides. It is true that you can be married to somebody because of their color, not because you're colorblind. Just like these white men, a lot of these white men that are bringing these Filipinas over into the United States and treating them like slaves. Okay? Because they want more, you know, their submissiveness and then there's slavery. Okay? Having a wife that just shuts your mouth and cooks for you and all your friends, okay, and she don't say nothing, okay, and when she speaks English, she tries to speak English, everybody just laughs at her, okay, that's not a submissive wife, that's a slave, okay, and this is something that's going on with this whole white men breaking up with, and this is another video, so I'm just ended here, but this is one of them things where these white men are abandoning their white women and going over there to the Philippines. And now, in their case, a lot of the old retired white men that are marrying these Filipinas, if they stay in the Philippines, yeah, they might have, legitimate respect for the Filipino culture and the women, but if they go over there and, they bring this woman over to the States without spending ample time falling in love and getting, you know what I'm saying? One of the reasons why a lot of these Filipinas come over here and then they go to crying to go back home and they want this man to stay with her in the Philippines because she gets treated differently over here by Americans than she does over there. You got black men out here thinking she, go to talking about Asian women like they, like they looking for a sex slave, and then these white men, they're fulfilling the dream of having this slave in their house that's going to cook for their family and be a maid, okay, and satisfy his sexual crazy favors in the first place. Meanwhile, he got to have a young, barely legal Filipina. And when I say barely legal, I'm not talking about a girl that's, that's illegal. I'm talking about a girl that's, like 19 and up, okay? But 19 is young when this old, hairy, funky white man is, in his 60s and 70s. That's a young girl there. That's a kid compared to him. Okay? But he's abandoning these white women. And you mean to tell me these white women, when they're old and they ain't got nothing to do but stay at home, they can't go out and put on a bikini and go, you know what I'm saying? So what are you doing, dude? Like, you're telling me that these old white women are the example of feminism in their old age when they just waiting to die. I'm having a hard time with that. I can understand the younger white women as well as black women, but old white women? I mean, even old black women, feminism doesn't work when you get a certain age, okay? You're happy to be with somebody and happy that somebody's with you. You're too busy. So my point is, slavery does exist, Brandon. Some people get married into slavery. Okay? And I've had, white women who wanted to sleep with me and tell me what's dumb about me at the same time. You know what I mean? Like I had a white woman that felt that my hair is nappy. Okay? And maybe some black people are okay with that, but white people have nappy hair too. And that just ruined our date. Like, she was like, how do you deal with that nappy? And back then, I had more hair on my head. Wasn't bald like I am now. Had more hair on my head. She ruined the whole date with it when she said that because she wouldn't let me clean it up. She felt like I cannot talk myself out of this. I'm thinking I shouldn't have to talk myself out of this. You should have never said nothing like that. Being you invited me over to your house and wanted to sleep with me. Okay? Like, what do you mean? What are we talking about my hair for? What are we talking? Oh, so you're telling me that all black people have nappy hair. I thought that nappy, and I'm just using this as an example, I thought nappy meant that you can't get a comb through it. My mother used to babysit a lot of white kids that had nappy hair back in the day. And she had to get on their parents' case and say, hey, you need to wash your daughter's hair. Okay? When I go to comb it, her whole hair comes out of her scalp. Like, when was the last time you washed your child's hair? When was the last time you put some conditioner or something in your child's hair? Okay? White people can have nappy hair too. But this woman's getting ready to, this woman was hoping that I would like get naked with her after she done said something like that. Like, why do your people, how do you deal with that nappy hair? And, and then it wasn't so bad as she said it, because I tried to clean it up for her. I said, well, I wouldn't call it nappy hair. And she's like, really? Okay. And that's when I was done with her. Like, no, it's not nappy hair. Nappy means you can't get a comb through it. Most of these black folks out here that are going to the barber shop every month, okay, every other week or whatever, to get their hair done, and getting perms in their hair and relaxers in their hair and all like that, you can run a comb through their hair. That's the whole point of spending all that money at the barber shop. So you can run a comb through it. So how's it nappy? But that's another story. The point is, I understand how you can be with somebody of another race and have no respect for them. These white guys going over to the Philippines are doing it. And they're getting here on YouTube and bragging about it. Okay? There's plenty of, but I don't want to waste time because this video is about black folks. And if you was waiting for me to go back to saying something ignorant and racist, I'm about to do that. So stay tuned, because I'm about to do that for you.
To a certain degree, and that's because of geographical location. People are generally living in this area, raised in this area, so they have the propensity to be, kind of like the people that they're around. But generally speaking, what does it matter, bro? Both of my children's mothers are white. And I'm embarrassed to even say both of my children's mother. I wish I could just have one wife and with a kid, but I was cutting up when I was in college. So I have two boys by two different women. One is my wife that I'm married to now because I finally got it together. And before was 13 years ago when I was in college. But they white, what does it matter? My boys look just like me, just with a slightly less of a tan. What does it change? Maybe I'm sleeping under a rock, and maybe there's a thing, there's something out there that people shouldn't race mix or whatever. I don't know, but like common sense says, who give a flying flip? You love who you love. There are black people that are raised in environments that are primarily white, and so what do you think they're going to be most attracted to? People that they're around. Race means absolutely nothing, and how you know that is that let a black kid and a white kid play together. They ain't thought about their race one time. They having fun at the Discovery Zone. They have fun at Maverick, Chuck E. Cheese. They are running and slapping and spitting on each other the whole time. They ain't missed a beat. Ain't nobody care about race but dumb, poor people. And I'm not saying that those go together, but dumb people and poor people are more focused on race. Mutually, they can be mutually exclusive or collectively together. But that's what I've noticed. Like, I see dumb people and they're like, oh, white man, a black man, like you're an ignorant person. That's why you focused on race. Yeah. And then I see poor people that they're not happy with their life. They're not financially secure. They've been making poor decisions their whole life. They ain't got no job, or they got a job they hate, and they finna get fired next week. They the ones mostly talking about race. All the people that I know that are very successful and wealthy, or even just happy and successful and working in God's purpose for their lives, I don't never hear none of them talk about race. You know, I got a lot of friends that are very successful that are white, and I have not one time thought about that they were white, and I doubt that they've thought about it one time that I'm black. I'm not trying to say that we live in a society where you have to be colorblind. You don't. But just understand in your viewing of different colors that ultimately we all on the same page. You go to surgery because you have an open heart surgery. There's no such thing as a black heart and a white heart and an Asian heart. You either got a heart or you don't got one. And I know that's improper English, but I said it like that for a reason. There's no such thing as a black brain and a white brain.
That's enough. Because I want to talk about the 3 videos that he just posted. And a bunch of other people posted as well. White folks and black folks. And let me tell you something. Just like atheism itself, just like the emergent church, and it's affecting black folks in the church as well. There is a demonic entity behind the culture of black people right now as I speak, more than ever before. It started around the time of the civil rights movement, okay? It started when, black people were at the crossroads. The stage was open for them to get on the stage and compete against these other nationalities and show that they were worthy, of America, like everybody else. The Asians have shown that they are worthy of America. The Indians have shown that they are worthy of America. My God, terrorists have showed that they're worthy of America when they are not doing terrorism. Which I think, if you do terrorism, you shouldn't be allowed to be an immigrant in the United States. If you ever once, one time in this country, found a terrorist cell in this country, nobody from that part of the world should be allowed to own gas stations or like they do, or own property or anything like that here in the United States. You should be, your visa, your green card should be denied, because we cannot trust you to come in here and not support a terrorist cell and do crime here in the U.S. Because when you unleashed your vengeance, okay, it's going to kill thousands and millions of innocent civilians, okay? So therefore, it's things like that that make us stupid. It's things like that that make white people stupid. It's things like that that might make Donald Trump stupid, okay? Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and everybody that's been in office, stupid. Because if somebody can come in this country and have an undercover terrorist cell right among, have a terrorist cell right next door to me. Have a terrorist cell down in my basement, in my laundry room, whatever. They should not be in this country. Not that we are racist, but because we care about America. Thank you, Trump. America first. Okay? But we are so into worrying about people's stupid feelings while they try to burn our flag that we allow them to burn our flag and burn us along with it. Okay? Now, Knucklehead Omar Johnson here said that what did he say? Hold up. I want you to hear. I want to make sure I heard it right. I meant to comment on when he said it. Okay, where is that? let's go here. I think right here. I think it's right here.
Against interracial relationships?
I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why. The reason I'm against interracial marriage, Envy and Charlemagne, is because marriage is an economic contract. It's an economic contract. Most women do not marry down in status. They marry up. And if you don't believe me, show me a rich white woman married to a broke-ass black man. Have you ever seen a rich white...
Okay, this is where he, excuse me, Christian, this is where he's a dumbass. You can tell he ain't been around. He too busy writing books and ain't getting around. A white woman does not, yes, a white woman marries up just like a black woman marries up. A white woman don't marry down any more than a black woman marries down. And if a white woman marries a black man that was up, a white man that was up. If a white woman marry a white man that's up, she's going to go higher when she marries another white man. She's not going to go from high to marrying a homeless white man or a white man that's working for McDonald's. Same thing with a black one. Oh my God, it's the same thing for black women. This is why a lot of black men are moving to the Philippines and are taking their business money with them. The money that these black women was never going to see. You think these guys are in the Philippines, okay, working for McDonald's, okay, or working for Walmart? No, they're not. They're taking their life-saving earnings, okay, and they're taking their business, they're creating businesses to move to the Philippines so they can live there and retire there at a young age, okay? And they're investing all this into what they expect to be a conservative, submissive Filipina, whether she's actually or whether he's actually conservative Christian or not. This is what they're looking for. Now, I've done a whole, you can go to my business channel and look at the playlist. I've done a whole bunch of videos on the Philippines about, you know, and so has the Filipina P and Mike's Journey and all the other ones talking about how Filipinas, okay, it's usually you go all the way down to the bottom of the sex escapades and back up before you actually find a submissive wife. But to a lot of these white and black men, it's worth it. But yet, no one's talking about the horny, nasty, filthy white men that are going over there with one thing on their mind because they can't cross that nonsense with a middle-aged white woman, okay, that has respect for herself. It ain't that her coochie don't work anymore. It's that they got a perverted mind. And if you look at the video footage, that's all they talk about. That's another video. But the point is, Omar Johnson here, okay, there are women in the ghettos, Omar. There are women that are city women, and there are women that are wealthy, and even the leaders of Black Lives Matter, Omar, live in white neighborhoods when they get rich. And they're not marrying people that support Black Lives Matter. They're marrying rich white men or rich white women, or if they're lucky, rich black men and rich black women, whether they be gay or straight. Okay, they're living. Their neighbors are wealthy white people. Even though they hate white people, their neighbors are wealthy white people, Omar. Okay? So everybody marries up if they got a brain, okay? But yes, a lot of these black women as well are only marrying these white men, these older white men, for two reasons. Number one, because they're wealthy and they ain't got to worry about what a black man is going to put them through financially, while they're really attracted to black men. Okay? And they use these white men to show off to these black men and get a message across. For example, I work with wealthy black women that have outstanding careers. They make double what I make an hour. Okay? And when I have to assist them, they're so busy, okay, trying to get a point across to me because of the color of my skin, that again, they make the white woman next to her, standing next to her, looks like she's the sweetest thing in the world, because this black woman in the middle of us is too busy trying to make a point with someone she knows nothing about. She don't know where I come from and what I've been through and how I feel and what I believe in. And let me tell you something else. I've been wanting to do a video on this too, and I will in the future. The reason why I don't pick black women for, lately for, a candidate for me to date is because my ex-wife failed the test. Okay, I wasn't looking at no black woman in the first place, but I figure, me and her was having fun, and if she passed the test, then, I'm doing good, and we're together forever, and I can go and turn around and say, I was wrong about black women. But that feminist garbage had to surface, because it's not the demon activity of white people. It is the demon activity of black people, and white people are just keeping it going. They ain't no better. But the thing is, okay, the reason why I don't date black women, because usually if I meet a black woman that I really, 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 really like and I want to hook up with her, me and her are looking at the same people. She's looking at a white man. That's who she normally dates, is white men. Me, I'm naturally looking at non-black women too, okay? Mainly Asian, okay? Now, either one of us is keeping it in our race. We feel that our race has failed us in a situation like that, so we're looking the other way. That's why me and her can't go out. That's why me and her will not be compatible with each other, because she's looking down her nose at me, and I'm looking at her like, sweetheart, you fine. You look like you got your head on right. You look like you could teach me some things, but I don't trust you, because that black demon might just come out of you one day at a restaurant or something, because somebody said hello or somebody asked the wrong question or whatever, and we're everything you tried to cover up just came out. So, and that's our attitude toward each other. That's why we don't, connect. It's not that I'm racist against black women. I think black women are beautiful. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I dealt with a lot of black women last night, and they were fine. You know what I mean? And there was a black conservative woman. You could tell she's pretty conservative, and I ran from her. I absolutely ran from her, because I didn't want her to turn around, and accuse me of something when I'm just being friendly. So I said, oh, excuse me, I just need to make sure, no one was in here, or, somebody was, and make sure you're safe, whatever. And I ran out of the room, because I don't want no crap, okay? But she was a very nice and lovely to behold black lady. And I ran, okay? And I will continue to run. Because in 2023, there's no reason to say that that I have to be with a black woman. If I have to be with a black woman, I'm still a slave. It's my option. This is America. I speak English as a first language. If I want to be with a white woman, and a white woman wants to be with me, even though white men are getting the best looking white women and the best Filipinos, okay? But if I'm more able to get a white woman that thinks like I think, and behaves the way I expect than I am to get a black woman, okay, that behaves like I expect, okay? And every man is the same on this. If you ain't, then you need to stop having sex and stop getting dating and all like that, because you don't let somebody come into your life and act like any way they want to. Okay, that could get you killed. That could get you shot. You got to have control over what kind of people are in your life, so don't even hand me that garbage. Okay. Omar needs to get out here like Candace Owens and like some of the other black conservatives, which he's not a conservative, and interview people and learn how they think and learn why they chose to be in the middle ground instead of the locked ground, instead of the box. But they chose to be in the middle ground instead of the box, okay? Black people are in this box. And this box is controlled by an entity. It's a jail cell. I'm not worried about black folks in prison because they already are in prison. You can't accept that this man got on the train and was threatening to kill people. See, what they should have did is they should have put him in a chokehold. There was 2 white men, if I remember the story correctly. I just looked at it again a little bit ago. There are 2 white men that had this fool. He came in there threatening people. Okay? Shout out to the 2 white men, and shout out to the white man that shot that dude in the back that day. That white man walked into Arby's or whatever that restaurant was, a fast food joint, and started threatening people with a gun or a knife or whatever it was. And as soon as he walked past, my man shot him in the back. And he is so sick of black people, after he shot him and he went down, he went and made sure he finished him. Now, I don't think that was necessary, because if he's down, the first thing you want to do is go over there and get the gun away from him. And if he's still breathing, that's fine. He just can't harm anybody. Now, dude on the train, I don't have no remorse for it. What they should have did was put him in a chokehold while the other white dude was beating the Pope out of him, okay? And then they should have called him enough N-words while they was doing it, because that's what he is. That's what he is. He's a piece of black trash. That's what he is. Okay? I would have went to jail if I had been able to take him down, because I'd have kept on beating him and beating him and beating him and shooting him or whatever. I'd have shot him. I'd have shot him. That's why I would never, ever go to Chicago. I went to New York. When I went to New York, I went unarmed. No, I didn't. I take that back. I had my gun with me. But this is why I'll never go into any inner cities around here without being armed. Like Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, Minneapolis, I would be armed. If I can't drive my car there, I just won't go, because I'm gonna be armed. Now, this is what needs to happen. Let me before I go there, let me say about these kids. These kids that went on this riot because of this man getting chokeholded on the train, and he died from it like George Floyd, okay? Look here. These kids, because they're kids, what I say is, first of all, there should be concentration camps for any kid in school that his parents, if a kid commits a crime in school, okay, if he bruises a teacher, if he hits another student, first of all, he should be locked up, whether you want to lock him up in a regular prison or lock him up in a prison for his age group. I don't really give a rat's behind. Lock him up. Second of all, when you got kids doing rioting like this, you need to put them all in concentration camps. If you cannot keep your kid from what they did to that poor white woman, all ganged up on that poor white woman and beat her to smithereens like that, if you cannot control your kids better than that, they belong in a concentration camp, and I don't give a rat's ass if every white man in there is a racist. Maybe they'll learn something. You need to put them kids in a concentration camp and say, hey, your mama don't work here. And you say some racist crap to me, I'm going to beat the snot out of you. Go on, try to riot up in here. Okay? And it works. It works. These kids are crying for the mom. There are boot camps out there where these kids have been taken to boot camp. They was crying for their mama when these military specialists got done with them. Okay? You need to boot camp these kids. You need to boot camp the entire black community for all I care. According to their age group. Separate the women from the men, the teenage boys from teenage girls. Boot camp them and make them go to school in boot camp. Forget about it looking like slavery. If you can beat your teacher because your teacher told you to turn off your phone in class, so you try to kill your teacher, separate this fool from his mama and his daddy and anyone else that ain't been raising him right. Okay? Put him in a concentration camp to save America. Oh my God. For the saving of the United States. Put this idiot in a concentration camp. And he can finish school in a concentration camp. Okay? And if the parents want to get him out of there, that's fine. They can send him home at any time they call. But if they can't control him, and he'll be under house arrest, and if they can't control him, he's right back in this camp. That's the way I see it. And God gave me a dream about this. And I believe it's going to happen, but by the time it's going to happen, it's going to be long after Biden, Trump, Trump will be history when it finally happens from what I see. But it is going to happen because, also, all these white people need to move out of Chicago because whoever is the mayor of Chicago and the leaders of Chicago and the police board and all that, because they don't want to do what's right to protect Chicago. After what happened to that woman, after what happened to Walmart and all them businesses, all the white folks need to move out of Chicago. The only white people to get to live in Chicago are cops. Okay? If you're going to stay in Chicago as a white man, you need to have a civil war. Don't worry about going to jail because they're having racial fights in jail. It don't matter. Black folks is going to, it doesn't matter. If I go to jail, like if I had went to jail for saving that white lady that they beat up, if I had shot one kid, if I had smashed one kid's face into the wall and got arrested for it, it would have been worth it. For all the black parents that don't know how to raise their kids, for all the kids that don't respect their parents, it would have been worth it. And this is a horrible time to be worried about taking any, my God, it's the horrible time right now with Biden in office. To be worried about taking a gun off of anybody, you need to be giving out more guns. That woman, okay, that got beat up should have shot half a dozen kids. Somebody left me a comment on one of my videos that I just recently did. It had nothing to do with racism, but I guess he's He's an old guy an old YouTuber that's coming back, start some crap with me. He said to me, so is racism okay? You know what I said to him? I said, if racism keeps you safe, so be it. Sometimes it takes racism to keep you safe. In the Bible days, there were races that God had annihilate. Why? Because, or should I say annihilated, because they were never going to leave the Jews alone. They were going to kill and rape and rob and kill and practice genocide on Jews. And God said, when you go in there, wipe them all out. Children to the youngest, fathers and mothers to the oldest, wipe them all out. And they didn't wipe them out because they started to have a little heart. And then they went back to war and they went and killed some more Jews. And God said, didn't I tell you to wipe them all out? My personal opinion, when you let demons run your life like this, because nobody wants the Lord, and nobody wants to listen to the preacher, and nobody wants to listen to the white man that's trying to apologize, or the white man that's trying to have a heart. Everybody's hating on Trump, and Trump ain't got nothing to do with this. Okay? When it gets this bad, when the demons have this much control, these demons just got all these black folks killed. And I'd rather have about as many black folks as I can count on one hand, okay, in this country and feel safe, than to overpopulate the country with people that look like me, and I'm not safe anywhere I go because they're just everywhere. And everywhere they go, there's crime. I'd rather be the only black man living in America than to keep dealing with this crap. This is why I'm in Pennsylvania, and this is why I'm staying in Pennsylvania. Oh, I had my bags packed to live somewhere else not too long ago. And right around the time Donald Trump, got in office, he exposed what's going on in these democratic cities. And the violence and who's running things and how white people are so stupid. They keep thinking they need to apologize. You don't need to apologize when you're getting the snot beaten out of you. You don't need to apologize when you was minding your own business. You had nothing to do with it. These bastards deserve to be shot. And if you're old enough to beat up on somebody and shed blood, you're old enough to lose blood. A lot of it. Okay? I don't care. I don't have any remorse for black people. The only remorse I have for black people is if you can find it in your heart, and if you can find that middle ground that Brandon Tatum has found, that Candace Owens has found, people that I like to listen to here on YouTube, that a lot of these other YouTubers have found. They live in Chicago. The one young man, he's locked in his house making these videos all day, and he's young, born again Christian, talking about and against all the violence and all the black buffoonery in Chicago, and how cops, ain't allowed to do so many things. Even here in Pittsburgh, I call the cops on people every day where I work at. They ain't allowed to do nothing. Okay? They commit a crime. They assault somebody. Hey, you all right? You feeling dizzy? You need an ambulance? No, I just need you to give me a weapon, okay? So I need you to hold him still so I can make him feel what I feel. So I can make him dizzy. Matter of fact, I need you to hand me your taser and your gun and let me have my way with this punk. Because it needs to stop. You can't sit there and cry racism, okay, and cry depression when you're the biggest oppressor of all. When you're constantly targeting white people and white cops and committing crimes. You burning up your mama's store. You blowing up, your mama's car. You don't care. You're using things. The news. You're using anywhere where the word black shows up to commit a crime. You don't care about white people. You don't care about black people any more than you care about white people. You just care about doing crime, and you're using racism to do it. You're not listening to the news and taking notes. You're not listening to Trump rallies. You're not listening to Biden rallies. You're not writing notes down. You're just looking for a reason to riot it, a reason to hurt somebody, a reason to kill somebody, and lie to yourself and tell yourself that it was okay when it's not. And the way I feel is white folks need to be walking around strapped. They need to be walking around with a can of beer spray strapped to their thigh. Okay? They need to be walking around with tear gas, whatever they need to be, knowing that this stuff is going to continue to happen and you have no idea when it's going to happen. And you know what? They need to start doing some Jim Crow at these Walmart stores. For every black person that walks in there, oh, you know what? We only allow so many black people in here at a time. And we only allow certain ages of black people in the store at one time. So the rest of y'all got to wait outside and line up. Until we get back to the day to where black people, okay, are in control by white people. Till white people take control back again of America. See, when Martin Luther King was walking besides white people were the seniority. They had control. But now we just keep giving up more and more and more control to all these immigrants. And all these, and all these people inside who speak English as a first language. They don't even know where they come from. They just, they got nowhere to go. They're not here to be erased. They're here to cooperate. They have no choice. They don't have another language. They don't have a country to go to. But they want to be in here and they want to try to take over from within like Arab people do. You're a terrorist, is what you are. Black folks are killing more Americans than terrorists are killing. They're killing more Americans than the KKK, okay, or the Aryan mobs and Italian mobs and you name it. They're killing more black people. First of all, they're killing more black people and causing more black people to go to prison, and they're killing more Americans, period, than any terrorist of any sort has ever done. Okay? Omar can sit up there and talk that smack. Okay? But this is why, because of people like him who keeps it heated up, this is why within the next 2 years, I'm going to be out of Pittsburgh again. I left Pittsburgh once, and I came back. I'm going to be out of Pittsburgh again. Because Pittsburgh is starting to become like Chicago. It's starting to become like Philadelphia. And I'm not going to be here. I want to be like Brandon Tatum. I want to be able to say what I want to say. And when I walk outside my house, I see nothing but white people. I want to be like Anthony Brian Logan. Say what I want to say. You can cast threats all you want to. I dare you to try to find me. But just before the pandemic, this place here was the uppity up. When I tell people I live here, they're like shocked. But yet, I told my Uber driver, because she used to live here, she was a white lady that used to live here years ago. Told my Uber driver, what's been happening lately since the pandemic? Oh, we blame the pandemic like the pandemic's a person. No, it's how we handled the pandemic. You don't give people a free ride because there's a pandemic. You don't give people a free ride because of what they refuse to build or create or because they refuse to work. No, you give those that are hard workers, those that are protectors, those that are negotiators. You give them a break. You don't give the people that don't care a break. They don't deserve a break. And just because you don't give them a break, that doesn't mean you allow them to tear up downtown Pittsburgh because you got nowhere to put them. It take you 2 seconds. All you got to do is open up your mouth and say, this is what we're going to do, and everybody's going to follow suit. You people that are in charge of Pittsburgh. And they're just letting people do whatever. And it's like people are getting shot. People are getting killed. They're getting mobbed and you name it by these kids, just like Chicago. And we had our first gangster riot, nothing like Chicago, just recently during the George Floyd bullcrap, okay? This is why I'm leaving Pittsburgh. Okay, Pennsylvania is the Keystone State. It's a very beautiful state, and there's a lot of white people that are going to get very racist when I move in next door because they don't want me up there. But guess what? That's where I'm going. I'd rather deal with a bunch of white people who want to just sick their dog on me and say, oops, he don't like black people, than to deal with this crap that's going on in Chicago. Okay? Stop having mercy where God ain't having mercy. God ain't having mercy on this crap, or they wouldn't be doing it. God ain't having mercy on that fool that, they tried to hold him until the cops got there. He still died. Okay? I think if Derek Chauvin really wanted to kill George Floyd, he'd have just kept tasing him or choked him a different way. He was holding him until he had control of him. He still died. Why? Because he was already on a drug that was killing him. Okay? But that's another video. But the thing is, I love black people, but I can't live with them. I love black people, but I'm afraid of them. I'll be honest with you right there. I love black people, but I'm afraid of them. Okay? I'm about as afraid of black people as white people are. That's just like I go to work. One minute somebody likes me, and the next minute he ready to go outside. Did I say something? What happened? Why are you mad? You mad at your girlfriend. Okay? I didn't sleep with your girlfriend. You mad at your girlfriend. You had come to work asking me to step outside. What? And I've been going through this for years. Black folks taking their frustrations out on not only innocent white people that can't fight back, but taking it on their own brothers and sisters and cousins and drive-by shootings over $1. You know what? Keep the dollar. Okay? Just don't ask me for no more money. That's all. If I gave you $1,000, am I driving? Am I sleeping? Do I live in a house? Do I have a job? Can I feed myself? Keep the 1,000. Okay? I just know you ain't my friend and I'll never loan you money again. That's all. There's a way to deal with evil. The Bible says, do not overcome evil with evil, but overcome evil with good. But see, you've been taught that because of the color of your skin, it's okay to be evil. We just give it a different title. We have a right because we've been through this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're the only country in this country that don't have a country. You don't have a home to go to. You're the only one here that speaks English as a first language. Half these white people speak more than one language. Or they come from a place, okay? Their grandmamas and grandpas spoke more than one or two languages. What you want me to say? Okay? That's not their fault that they enslaved you, and you maybe that's why you got enslaved because you wasn't thinking straight to begin with, like you ain't doing now. Okay? Like Kanye West, the dumbest thing I ever heard. If you was being smart, you would have ran or you would have fought back. You know. Oh, but now that you're free, you want to fight back, and you fighting back when there's more interracial relationships now more than ever. There's more white people giving black people homes for free and giving them all this stuff for free. More than ever before. We're 2 seconds from performing a reparations deal. If I was Joe Biden, I would get on national television and say, you know that riot that happened in Chicago? Okay, the reparations deal is off the table. I was reconsidering it, but no. But no. And I would say, I said at first that if you didn't vote for me, you ain't black, but I think you voting for me was the dumbest thing you ever did, and I'm sorry that I'm a part of your nonsense. I apologize for making that statement because you're embarrassing me. Okay? But anyway, I'm out of here. D. Recruits Life Applications Officer. Thank you for watching. We'll do more of this again later.